Well, it's been a while since I've been in the garden. I'm the Frugal gardener, and there's been some things going on that I had to tend to, some family emergencies. So this is the reason why I'm just getting back to you guys. And actually, a lot has gone on. A lot's been going on here in this garden because this is the most rain. I've been in West Virginia for 16 years now. This is the most rain we've ever had in July and August, hands down. So it's been really great for the garden. This is my lemon cucumber. These are just about ready. There's 4 here, and I just harvested some before. There's a lot going on, including sugar baby here, the baby watermelon, and the bees, and there's a lot happening. But today I want to talk to you guys about something that's been in the news a lot lately. And I told you in a previous video that we were going to do 2 new segments. And one is called The Poor Man's Garden, or Gardening on the Cheap. And the other one is titled Things You May Not Know, or Things That You Didn't Know. So I'm going to get right into it because I have to go. I have things I have to tend to. But just to give you just a little bit of background before I get started and showing you these sweet potato slips. Yes, I'm showing sweet potato slips in in August, and there's a reason for that I'll get to in a minute. And that is, excuse me, according to the government website, the USDA, there are 47, might as well say 48 million people in this country, men, women, and children, that are suffering from food insecurity. I don't really like to use that word. They try to get fancy. Food insecurity is a fancy way of saying people are going to bed hungry every night because they don't have enough food to eat. And so this is why I am going to do this segment for the next couple of weeks and show you how you can feed yourself, maybe not 100%, but feed yourself by gardening with little to no money. And yeah, it's a little bit unorthodox, but the times we live in, we're going to have to make some changes. I mean, 53 million people a year go to food banks. Let that sink in. That's a lot of people that have to go and get food. So I'm going to start with these beans. Something simple, something that if you are on a tight budget, something that if you are dealing with, as they say, food insecurity, then you probably eat beans, either one of these or different types. And a lot of people don't realize you can plant these right out of the bag. Red beans, red and northern beans are popular. Kidney beans are popular. I feel like that the children's cartoons or children's shows where they say, which one doesn't belong? Which one doesn't belong? This one, split peas. You cannot replant split peas. I'll say that again. You cannot replant split peas. Pretty much everything else you can. Split peas, because they're split. They're not in the form that they were grown in. And because they've been split by a machine, then you can cook them and you can eat them, but you can't regrow them. Now, if you don't want to go out and buy a bunch of beans, as a matter of fact, my point is this. I'm not saying buy a whole bag of beans for the purpose of planting the whole bag. You're buying the beans to eat, to feed yourself, to feed your children, your family. But take a couple of those beans aside and you can plant those beans and you will have obviously more beans. If you don't want to go through the list, this is a quick and easy way. This comes with a seasoning bag. I'm not trying to sell you guys seasoning or beans for that matter, but you can look in here and you can see there's at least 13 out of 15 beans in here that you can plant. Obviously, if you look close, you'll see the green, you'll see the split peas that I just showed you here that you can't plant, but pretty much everything in here you can plant. So you buy this one bag, you make up a bunch of beans for the family, for the children, and on the back, I'm not gonna, this is kind of messy because it's been raining out here, but you should have no problem identifying which beans are in here, so you'll know which ones that you're going to cook. Now, number two, this is an old standby. This is the these are the sweet potato slips. I meant to bring the sweet potato out with me. I have one in the house, and basically, you grow the sweet potato, and once you get the slips, you plant the slips. So I'm not going to take them all out. A lot of you guys have seen this before, but again, these are for people that are dealing with food insecurity, or again, as I keep telling you guys, I know a lot of you guys have been gardening for a long time. A lot of you guys are regular. You may not have this issue, but pass this on, please, to somebody who this may help. I've been growing these slips since the spring and planting them, and I grow more and plant them. If you are in a climate that gets cold, it's probably too late. We are 63 days, I believe. I wrote that down somewhere before the first frost. So you're not going to be able to get sweet potatoes if you plant these outside. But you put them in a container and start them outside and put them in the garage, put them in the basement, put them someplace where it's warm and where you can get the light, then you can finish them off and you can have sweet potatoes. So that's two things. You have beans, you have sweet potatoes, and you can have also garlic. Garlic, why garlic? There's a couple of reasons why I would say garlic. And that's one, because garlic right now, they're having a lot of recalls. There's an issue with garlic, and they are, it's been in the news lately. The recalls because of bacteria, because of contamination. This is the powdered garlic. I have two videos, at least two videos, where I show you how to not grow your own garlic, but process your own garlic. Notice this says organic. I try to get organic when I can, and this is something that you plant in the fall. I prefer elephant garlic. The reason why, one of the things that that this thread goes through is these are everything you can go to the supermarket. These are things that you probably pick up anyway. You probably eat sweet potatoes and beans and garlic. You don't have to go to Burpees or one of those big box stores and pay for a whole bunch of something that you may not can afford. Where if you go this route, you can buy one or two, or you can buy one or two at a time. So I'm going to show you the garlic that I have planted. That's on the other end there. I'll take you down that way in a minute, but I want to go to something else that you guys can grow, and that's ginger. Yep, I've been growing ginger for years. I don't grow it every year because it does take quite a while. It takes between 7 and 9 months to grow it, but it is so simple. I buy organic, and it's pretty simple. You put it in the soil, you cover it. It has to stay warm. If temperature drops below freezing, bye-bye. You just basically wasted your time, your money, your effort. Ginger is better to start in the spring, but just like I told you about the sweet potatoes, you can put these in a container. This is what I mostly use now. I'm not going to go through the whole spiel again about why I'm not growing in ground. That is a story for another day. That I'm going to have this rectified by next year. That's the reason why you see everything, that even though things are working out, this is not the way that I originally planned this garden to go this year. So you're going to have a lot of things in ground next year that are above ground. So yes, you can grow ginger in pots, and I'm going to show you that also. And then I'm going to go on to the 5 things that you may not know. So in the meantime, I'm going to show you the latest harvest. The Frugal daughter and the Frugal granddaughter were here, and they harvested some potatoes for me. Okay, it's harvest time once again in the Frugal gardener's garden, but this time I have help. All the way from Ohio, the Frugal daughter and the Frugal granddaughter want to harvest these potatoes for me. I know this doesn't look like much. I deliberately left these and let them overgrow because this was the first bin of potatoes that I planted, and this is the last bin to be harvested. Although there are other potatoes around the property, this is the last actual bin. So let's get started. Okay, this is the first plant, and
what am I going to do with the shovel?
Well, it's a trawl, and we're going to dig around in there and see what we get. So right now,
here, hold this.
The Frugal daughter is going to carefully dig around. There's a potato right there. And yeah, let's see what we have here. Uh-oh, Frugal granddaughter's moving in. Oh, there's one. So we have one so far. Well, because the sun hit it, and it's not supposed to hit the sun. There's a potato right there. It's not supposed to be in the sun. That one got a little bit of sun. Can you get that one? Let's see. Oh, all right. Look at that.
Yeah, that's great.
There we go. That's the first really nice one that we got so far. Let's see how many more we can get in there. I just saw one underneath there. That's a little itty bitty one.
I want to pull now.
But I saw one. Can you see, like, right in there? Can you show her?
I think I see one.
There you go. All right. There's number 3.
Oh, I saw another one. It's here.
Number 4. Wow, you're doing a great job, Frugal granddaughter. That's 4 right there. How about over this way? What's down in there?
I don't see.
You can pull all that up if you can.
What's that?
Is there anything in there, or is that just weeds? I think we just have weeds.
A potato.
A small one.
A bee.
Here's a small one, so let's call it 3.5. You see that one right there? See that one peeking out?
Where?
Right there.
Oh, yeah.
Get that one carefully. Wow.
It's bigger than the other one.
You guys are doing a great job. So let's see what else is in here. Step back and let mommy pull that one. Straight out if you can.
I think I see one.
All right,
I think
another
I
one.
See another one, and another one. I saw itty bitty one.
That's a nice one right there. You got to stop blocking the camera. I'm not going to be able to film them. Okay. All right, look at that one. Yes, another good one, Frugal granddaughter. Add that to the pile. This is looking good. This is looking really nice.
That one looks like a pepper.
Oh, there's a small one. There's a nice one right there. Look at that one. No. Bring it back so we can see it. Now show us the big one.
Oh.
Put the small one down over there and then come back and show us the big one. We're doing well today. Here's a decent sized one. This one here. Look at that.
Ooh, I found another one.
And that one here, we're hitting the jackpot today. Look at this. You got this one, you got this one. Okay, add those to the pile. Mommy just picked out another one here. There's a small, medium-sized one there. That can be for soup or stew. What about that one? Yes. Hold it up for the camera. Good job. Wow, this is really paying off. Here's a smaller one.
This is really fun.
Yes, it is. What about these here? You want to get those?
Yeah.
You're doing a good job for 4.5. Hold them up to the camera. You want to show all of them, don't you? Even little itty bitty ones. All right. Let's see if there's any more. Hello. We're still pulling potatoes. This is working very well. Let's show that one to the camera. Yeah. So guys, it pays off. It pays to grow in a container. I've been using this container for a while, and the frugal daughter and the frugal granddaughter are still pulling potatoes. And yes, will you put those little, there's another one. Oh my goodness. This one,
another big one,
was better than the first two. Yep, very good. The smaller ones, we'll put in soups, we'll put them in stews. The medium-sized ones, we have lots of things that we can do with those.
Ooh. Oh, that's the soil.
Yep, we're getting down to the end now. Okay, so thank you so much to the frugal daughter and the frugal daughter-in-law for your help today. She said you're welcome in case you guys didn't hear. And you're welcome also. This is not bad for one bin's worth of potatoes. There's several good ones in here, a couple of large ones. And like I said, the smaller ones I'll either replant or we'll throw them in the pot in the stew. And this is great. I'll add these to the other 2 containers that we harvested. So we should be set for a while with potatoes. So let's move on to something else. So this is the ginger. Like I said, it's pretty simple. This is, I would say, this is pushing the limits. I would not put it in anything smaller than this, but this will be fine. And it's a ginger that I showed you. Well, it came from the same store of the ginger that I showed you a second ago. And basically, you bury it a couple inches deep and make sure that it's in the sun. Make sure that it's watered. And like I said, make sure it stays warm. It just takes a while. I mean, you can have a baby in the time it takes to grow ginger. You can get ginger from planting ginger in about 7 months. And I know if you need food right now, if you need beans or whatever it is now, that's not going to help you. But if you're in a situation now, you're going to probably need this later also. A lot of people basically are not going to go from being food insolvent to having a full pantry overnight. The numbers are going the wrong way. So a lot of people that are probably in good condition now or borderline now are going to end up in this position, unfortunately, over the next couple of months. So on top of the ginger, this is the mint that I showed you in a previous video. I also talked about potatoes because white potatoes, I mentioned in a previous video, they go hand in hand with sweet potatoes. White potatoes, basically, you just take the potato, let it sprout, and once it sprouts, because a lot of potatoes have growth inhibitors that stop them from sprouting. So if you buy organic, they don't have those growth inhibitors. This is the potato, store-bought, that I just basically put in a container and put it in this milk crate, and I'll get 5 or 6 potatoes out of this. Okay, so right now we're over at the Chaos Garden, and If you don't know what that means, then I suggest that you check back on a couple of videos ago. I built this out of necessity, and it has evolved. And I brought you over here to show you that I practice what I preach. I'm not just doing this to make videos. Here are potatoes growing here, here, down here, and over there. There are at least 4 different potatoes that are growing in here. There's a bunch of other stuff growing over here too. We're not going to go into this today, but the reason why I'm showing you this is because I also planted onions and I planted garlic. The garlic and the onions are mixed in potatoes, and yes, there's also sweet potatoes. You can see these vines here. For those of you who don't know, sweet potato vines are edible. You can cook them like you do spinach or other greens, but the onions you cannot. I always say that twice. You can cook and eat the vines from the sweet potatoes, but not from the potatoes, and because you end up getting sick. So why did I do this? Because I wanted to try something different. So I put all this together, but this, I would say a third of the garden was designated for the potatoes and sweet potatoes, because I put sweet potatoes in here originally and they lasted about 3 days. And before you know it, the deer or something got in here and it was bye-bye. So now, because I put in the onions and the garlic that I can harvest in the spring, I get a bonus. I did plant some of this a little bit too close together, but that's okay, because even if I don't get the garlic, even if I don't get the onions, I still get the potatoes and the sweet potatoes. Also, see, finally, I got some squash coming up here. This is amazing because there's been a problem trying to get this squash to grow, and now it's finally happening. I'll give you guys an update in about a week. Like I said, I got some things going on right now, but I will give you guys an update on the squash and on this whole situation I have going on here with this chaos garden. But like I said, I wanted to show you the benefits of using more than one plant in the garden. Now, again, the onions and the garlic, you're not going to harvest those until late spring if you plant them now. Here's some more onions down here, and there's some back here. I did not do anything with this area here because I wanted to disguise this from the deer and the predators. Okay, so now moving on to things you may not have known. Perfect place to start, because these are tomatoes. Believe it or not, there are more than 20 tomatoes in here. If you look real close, I have a netting up here, so you really can't see a lot of them. But if I can lift this, you'll see there are so many tomatoes in here. I'm afraid to try and lift this too much because I don't want to break it, but let me see if I can move this just a little bit. Okay. You can see in here, there's tomatoes all in here, all back through here, all in through here, and they're not in the sun. Over here, they're hidden. So, things you may not know. Tomatoes do not need direct sunlight to grow. Now, a lot of you have probably fallen off your chair about now. Listen to what I'm saying. As long as the leaves have sun, the leaves bring in the energy. They're like solar panels. The leaves are the ones that are involved in the photosynthesis. It's a big fancy word. Basically means that the energy from the sun goes into the leaves and the nutrients, and those go into the tomatoes. So as long as your tomatoes have leaves that reach the sun, these are already out here, which is in jeopardy. I'm not liking this because of the deer, but as long as the leaves have adequate sun, then you're in good shape. I have squash coming in over here also. So that's number one on things you may not know. Okay, you may know that I have chickens. You may also know that when chickens lay eggs, I didn't notice until after we got chickens, there's something called a bloom that's around the egg. It's a protective coating that you can't see. As long as that coating is not washed off, you can leave those eggs out on the counter at room temperature. And a lot of other countries, they don't refrigerate their eggs. And that's the reason why, because the bloom is not washed off. I'm telling you this because I found out recently that the apples have a similar coating, and the producers, the processors, they wash that off. And then they coat it with wax. Yes, they're saying it's edible wax. Yes, they're saying it's safe wax, but it prevents shrinkage. It prevents spoilage. It also extends the life of the apples. So most of the apples that you buy in the supermarket, wait for it, those apples are generally a year old. They have them in storage, and some of them are up to 14 months old. So again, something you may not know. This is the reason why I'm starting to look for farmers markets, and the reason why we're planting an orchard. We're having difficulty with this clay soil. But yeah, the apples that you're eating from the supermarket are not fresh. They've been around for months and months and months. To me, even 6 months is too long. So that's something else on the list of things you may not know. And I'm showing you these bush beans here. The reason why I'm showing you these bush beans is because they're purple. And purple and red veggies are higher in antioxidants, which means they're healthier for you, which means that they will help prevent you from getting sick in the winter, especially if there's another outbreak. So this is the reason why you'll see me planting more purple, more red, more dark colored greens, because they're healthier for you. So moving on, this is one of my favorites, hummingbirds. You know, this year I went big on hummingbirds, and hummingbirds have done me right. Things have worked out really well with them. What I did not know, and now maybe you'll know if you didn't before, hummingbirds need nectar for energy. So they get 80% of their diet from nectar. I'm sorry, I got that backwards. 20% of their diet is nectar. 80% of a hummingbird's diet is from bugs. It's from gnats. It's from things that they eat around your garden. So going back to the poor man's garden, if you have a garden and you don't have money for a bunch of pesticides, or you don't have the time, or whatever the case may be, if you have hummingbirds, those hummingbirds will eat those bugs. I have not had a bug problem in my garden all summer. One of the best things I've done. Now, I have to admit, I didn't just buy the feeder and give them the nectar, which I showed that in another video. If you want, you mention it to me in the comments, I'll link that one also. You can plant stuff like this. These are obviously red trumpet vines. These vines attract the hummingbirds. You can Google it. There's a whole list of vines and flowers that the hummingbirds like. So this is something that you might really want to consider, because hummingbirds, they stick around until around October. So you still have time to benefit from that this year. And there's something else you may not know. So the final thing is, well, I'll talk to you about the French sorrel in the next video, because this is running kind of long and I don't like to keep you guys. Right here, this is the red Russian kale. I'm not showing you the seeds because they're tiny. The tiny is kind of windy, and I'll show those to you also in other videos. So subscribe if this information is helpful to you. The reason why this is on my list of things that you may not know is because the red Russian kale can survive down to 0. Some people say below 0. I know this for a fact because I've planted this a couple times already, and yes, I have been able to witness this bounce back. I did have a little bit of a loss, but this stuff is really, really cold hardy, and freezing temperatures, it kind of just shrugs it off. You will notice a difference, but it does bounce back. So that's it for the things that you don't know, may not know. That's it for gardening on a budget, or the poor man's garden. And I have a bunch of stuff. I've been doing research on this, and I planned this out for a while now. So once I get things sorted out here at home, I'll hit you guys with another video. It's probably not going to be until next week, but please pass this on. And if you want information, more information like this, then please subscribe and tell your friends. I'm also going to do another tour. I haven't done anything with this yet. This is going to be my new greenhouse. It doesn't look like a greenhouse right now, but it's coming. So thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe. As I said earlier, I appreciate your time. Remember, when you grow your own food, you'll always know where it comes from. I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Go out and enjoy your day.